Yo, what's up guys? We got PokeAim here. Today we have another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl video. This time we're going to be talking about the recent Salamence ban in the new UU tier that is finally out of Alpha. We'll also be talking about how UU looks right now. We'll be talking about the Pokemon that rose up to OU as well as the one that fell to UU. And then we'll also be talking about the new Alpha RU tier. So we got quite a bit to talk about. If you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm on my way to 300k. That is my end of this year goal. And I do have some merch available only until the 9th. After that, the merch is gone. So, Salamence has been banned from the UU tier. This was a long time coming because UU tier was an alpha. They don't do any bans. They just let the tier play out. And Salamence was always seen as a cut amongst, it was just cut above the rest. It was a cut above the rest. So it was basically the best Pokemon in the UU tier. So if you actually look at this, we had, with UU leaving Alpha, tiering action can commence. We put together a small council dedicated and proven players, those being myself, Twilight, Toy Time King, and 6 Roggenrollers. Okay. Salamence has been quick banned from BDSP UU. Salamence is simply out of place in UU star for solid answers and constrains team building significantly with its plethora of powerful sets. This ban shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. We also voted on 2 other hot topics, Cresselia and Sun, and basically Crest was not banned and everybody abstained on Sun. So in terms of Salamence, Salamence was an incredible Pokemon, right? I don't think anybody didn't see this coming. Every set of Salamence was good. If you actually look at the BDSP UU tier, which has now formed as an actual BDSP UU tier, in terms of answers, Bronzong wasn't a good answer because Magneton always beats Bronzong. Well, at least standard Bronzong, because Magneton runs Magnet Rise, Sub, Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon. So once Bronzong was gone, that was it. One of the best answers to this Pokemon was Donphan with its Ice Shard, and funnily enough, Donphan has now been respected and rose up to OU. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, while Aerodactyl fell to UU. Ditto was one of the better answers to Dragon Dance, as well as Scarfments, but versus Scarfments you force a tie, and versus Dragon Dance, well, basically you can reverse sweep because you just copy them, you get their Moxie and do everything like that. Entei had a lot of damage for extreme speed. Fortress really couldn't do much, and then it's not like Dragon Dance wasn't the only Salamence, right? There was Choice Scarf, which still sometimes ran Fire Blast. Dragon Dance sometimes ran Fire Blast, and also the mixed Salamence with Draco Meteor, Fire Blast, Roost, and Outrage with Moxie. That also could deal with its own answers like Hippowdon, Metagross, and Fortress a lot easier. So Salamence had multiple sets that could really just rip past the opponent. And it was really easy to snowball with this Pokemon due to Moxie. And I think the biggest reason for that is there weren't good fairies in the UU tier. Now Granbull I think is fantastic. It's probably the best Salamence check there is on the it's probably the best Salamence check there is on at least the physical side. But Mr. Mime dies to +1 Earthquake, so that's not a Pokemon. Same thing with Gardevoir, it also dies to +1 Earthquake. Even if it traced Intimidate, which most Salamence did not run, most of them did run Moxie sets, so Gardevoir couldn't trace Intimidate and deal with it back, and with only base 68 HP, base 65 defense, it got beat down. We'll go back to Granbull in a second. And then there was Mawile, which is another Mon that even if you tried to check Salamence with it, which most people did not use Mawile because it wasn't that great of an answer in the, or a great of a Pokemon in the UU tier, it just didn't deal with it, man. It just got 2-hit KO by Earthquake anyway, or it got KO by +1 Earthquake. Now, Granbull was the best defensive fairy check for Dragon Dance Salamence, is just because it only took about 30%. The Rest Talk Intimidate set, and then can 2-shot back with Play Rough. But even this one had to worry about Special Mence's Life Orb, Fire Blast, 2-hit KOing it with Stealth Rock. So that's another thing. And even Granbull can be outplayed with Spikes and Hazards. And it's not to mention that that's only one Pokemon Granbull. Which, well, it checks Granbull, it checks Flygon, it checks Fighters in the tier. I think Granbull was an incredible UU Pokemon. I've showed it off as well. Not in the Granbull video, but the video after the Granbull video, where Granbull was just doing crazy. In my Typhlosion video with Sun, and it worked really well on Sun. So Mence was definitely kind of starved for checks. Even Cresselia didn't KO it with Ice Beam. Like from full, it doesn't KO Mence with Ice Beam. And if Mence was Life Orb, which I also ran sometimes, Dragon Dance Life Orb sets, it at +2 it can knock out Cress. And if a Cress is weakened or even knock out, obviously you can do a lot with that. So some of the better checks, like I said, Entei's Extreme Speed when it got some damage. Cresselia, though it needed damage on the Mence anyway. Bronzong got trapped. Amapom was a pretty cool one because Amapom did a lot to it with Fake Out, so that was nice. I'm glad that Amapom is officially UU. Did not have any influence there. I mean, I did use Amapom to get number 7 on the ladder, but I didn't have any influence there otherwise because Amapom was just a good Pokemon. even if it did miss its technician right now. Yeah, Hippowdon will get torn apart by mixed mens, and then there's Honchkrow, obviously, Cacturne for Sucker Punch priority. Mew is another mon that could run physically defensive with Ice Beam, but even then it could take too much from +2 Outrage. Same thing with Milotic. Quagsire cannot tank special sets. Registeel is setup fodder depending on the set. And there's just a lot of setup fodder in this tier. Like, you see most of the bulky waters and bulky types trying to stop Ments, but even then they don't do it very well. It's not like the tier only has Ments to deal with. There are a lot of threats in this tier like Specs, Porygon, and others. But Dragons are definitely at their peak at the moment. I mean, you see Latios being one of the strongest Pokemon in the OU tier, and you saw Salamence being here. It makes sense that Salamence goes down, especially because Togekiss is taken by OU right now. One of the definitely better checks you could have for it, because Iron Tail plus 1 Iron Tail wouldn't knock it out anyway. And then you have, of course, Clefable up there too. In terms of seeing Salamence doing anything, oh, also again, Donphan, sorry, was one of the better checks too, just because it had offensive Ice Shard. I love Donphan in this tier, man. With knockoff or Bronzong, Earthquakes, some run Custap Barrier and stuff. Donphan plus Ditto are some of my favorite ways of dealing with Ments and kind of just snowballing back. Like even games that I was losing, I knew that as long as they sent out Ments, I had a shot at winning, just because I have Ditto in the back. And Ments is so good of a Pokemon, you are going to send it out eventually. But yeah, Ments is banned. In terms of Ments working in the OU tier, it's gonna take some. It definitely takes some teamwork, that's for sure. But if it's like Spadef Unaware Clef, I'm sure like a Life Orb, Iron Tail, Fire Blast Ments with like Draco looks pretty crazy. Obviously, you can't hit everything, right? If you go Roost, you can't hit Heatran with that set. But I don't think Dragon Dance is as good in the OU tier. And I think missing out on Dual Wing Beat kind of is what makes that worse. And obviously, Specs misses out on Hurricane right now because it's not in the tier, and also would miss Hurricane anyway. But if it had those sets, I think it could be better in the OU. But I do think at least as Evanisha has like a special mix breaker because it deals with Heatran, Gliscor, and Scizor. But I think that Dragonite can do that better defensively, can Roost, and is better at, well, I mean, Salamence can Roost too, but is better at defogging just because of multi-scale. So we'll see. I'll definitely try and use Salamence in the OU tier anyway, probably with Blunder or something. So Donphan moved up to the OU tier, which I think is pretty cool. And we'll look more at the solidified UU tier in a second. But Donphan moved up to the OU tier, and that's so freaking awesome to see. I definitely spammed the hell out of Donphan. Being the best rapid spinner offensively, could also like knock out Azu and stuff and checking because of sturdy. A good Dragonite check with double Ice Shard offensively as well. Knockoff sets will deal with Latios, checks Infernape defensively. Can basically check everything because of sturdy. One of the best knockoff users besides Infernape, besides Crawdaunt in the tier. Rapid Spin was amazing, especially the Rapid Spin Speed Boost was also pretty cool. I've even seen Firefang and Choice Band sets, also used them myself. It was just like it's your go-to check. Like you need Stealth Rock, you need a Rapid Spin on your team, you needed to check the Dragon just because Ice Shard you want to knock off. This was your mon to go for. So I'm very happy that it was finally respected enough to be OU again. I think it's pretty cool. I think the last time that Donphan was OU was Gen 5, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to Gen 5 OU real quick just to make sure I'm not lying to ya. Donphan, no, you're gonna show me OU by technicality when I scored. Yep. So that just basically means they have different tiers right now because they play in tournaments, and they're just saying these guys are OU, but they're not really OU. If you didn't actually know, Gen 4 does the exact same thing with like Electivire, Ninjask, Dusknoir type of thing. This is like their fake OU, and this is like the OU for current DVP, and this is like their unofficial OU. Like they are OU, but they wouldn't be used currently. Though I think that Lax, Shaman, and Tentacruel, and Togekiss are all great. But yeah, so Donphan moving up to tier makes sense. Fantastic Rapid Spinner, good offensive one. Azelf continues to stay OU, one of the best Stealth Rock leads, which is funny because Aerodactyl has fallen down. I think that if I wanted Stealth Rocker, I like Azelf a little bit better just because of U-turn and explosion, whereas Aerodactyl kind of just dies. It can threaten Scizor with a Fire Blast and Taunt, obviously, to stop defog. The most common defogger being Scizor, Gliscor being another one. But I would rather use Donphan, which can repeatedly get up Stealth Rock, or at least Azelf, which can boom or fire move to actually do damage or get on out of there to prevent defog or Rapid Spin. So I think that Aerodactyl just eventually was like, not very strong. Falls down to the U tier where it looks like it'd be a great offensive Stealth Rocker, but I think it also just faces competition from like Custap, Lead Fortress, and like, but that's not, it's like that. I think that would be the only thing on offense. Mew, Fortress are like the only two other mons on offense that can kind of do what Aerodactyl does, which is like lead off and set up hazards and taunt. Well, Fortress can't do it, but it can Rapid Spin, so it's close enough, and it can explode. But yeah, gonna be cool for a lead more hyper offensive teams, which are going to be interesting now because there's no more Salamence. Maybe Gyarados will find a way to rise up. I do think that Crest won't stay UU potentially, but we'll see. We'll see, because it is definitely harder to deal with. But obviously, offensive teams can still run Miss Magius, Nidoking, Porygon, things like that. Calm Mind Raikou or Specs Raikou. Yeah, Mega is still a fantastic Pokemon. Curse Slash, things like that. A lot of these setup mons are very, very hard. And Shell Smash Blastoise. A lot of these setup mons are very, very, very difficult to deal with. The lack of Toxic, I think, makes a big deal right now. Which is also cool to see Drapion higher, because good for T-Spikes, can actually Toxic, can check Miss Magius, one of the better Pokemon in the tier. But yeah, so Arrow fell down, gonna find its place there or go down to the RU tier. UU looks pretty cool though. I don't disagree with any of these Pokemon. I mean, they're all based on usage, but I think that all these Pokemon are definitely a cut above the rest when it comes to the tiers down below. And I'm about to look at the RU tier because this is my first dive into it, so this is gonna be nice. So BDSP RU is in Alpha. Now this means that even a Pokemon, if it's broken in the RU tier, and the fact that I don't see Venomoth on this list or anything like that makes me look at like certain Pokemon immediately come to mind. Like Venomoth, I think will be a cut above the rest in RU. But yeah, RU is an Alpha, so there is a new tier for RU. We're about to look at it right now. Also, what are you guys' thoughts on the Salamence ban? What are you guys' thoughts on the UU tier? I'm glad that we're gonna start seeing something in the UU tier, because I think it's fantastic. They're just like, there's too many good Pokemon. I think Salamence definitely had that constraint on team building for sure. I just threw it on every team because it was a win con at every team, right? Scarf was always a win con at every team. Mix could break, but I liked Scarf, I think, and Dragonets were my favorite sets, whether it be Dragonets Lumberry or Dragonets Life Orb, because I wanted that extra oomph to actually power through Blastoise, Cresselia, Swampert, etc. But yeah, so now we have the RU tier, and RU is obviously its own thing. So let's go ahead and look at what RU has to offer. So I'm just going to stop at certain Pokemon that I think are like incredible down here. But just based on face value. So I'm just going to, again, I'm looking, I see some good Mons in general, but some like whatever Mons. Dugtrio doesn't have Arena Trap, so that's why it's going to be down here. Electivire seems pretty cool. Just looking at everything here, has a decent speed tier, has the move pool to do it. We also see the ability to Aurora Veil, which is pretty cool as well. Let's see what else we have here. Exploud seems insane. Just being able to click Specs, Boom Burst, and there's no like Umbreon, and if you look at the U tier, there's no Umbreon to kind of like Wish Protect off. Not that there's good Steel types anyway. There's no Bronzong as well to take Boom Burst. There's definitely Steelix down here too. These are whatever. Frostlats looks like a great offensively with spikes. Gashadon finds itself in lower tiers, which is funny because Gashadon's also used in higher tiers too. So I wouldn't be surprised if in time Mismon jumps from RU to OU like it always does, or NE to OU, whatever it ends up going. We do have a Shell Smash Pokemon, and we also have Huntail as well. So that's interesting as well, because there's not a lot of strong priority I see right here. Like, no ain't going to use a fake out Delcatty. Yeah, I don't see a lot of super strong priority besides maybe the Absol we saw back then. We also see Sticky Web options right here with Aerodactyl. So Sticky Web and Toxic Spikes are pretty cool. But yeah, the Shell Smash Mons, another Guts Mon is cool. We have Hariyama, so Heracross higher. Hariyama can definitely do it with a Guts, especially because there's no Cresselia, and the Psychics are not going to be tanking as well. There's no Mew, so they're not going to be tanking as well as normal. Like Trimecho is not going to be a check to this Mon. I'm sure there's other Psychics down here that are decent. I have a good speed tier. Kingdra definitely looks like it's a cut above the rest as well. Rain is possible. I already saw Illumise, which means Volbeat's definitely down here too. And Volbeat's actually a really good rain Pokemon. I don't know if you guys saw my Fiona video where Fiona was the star, but I think Volbeat was definitely stealing some of that shine because it's a fantastic mon. So the two sets that Kingdra that can be very threatening. I guess Dragon Dance can also be, so three sets. There's Dragon Dance with like Dragon Dance, Waterfall Outrage, either Rest with a Chesterberry, Sub with leftovers, things like that. Lumberry as well. There's Rain Dance 3 attacks, or Specs on a Rain team. Which would have something like Volbeat on it. You see Kabutops right there, so another Rain Pokemon. Manual Rain is good. All right, I don't care what anybody says. Manual Rain is super good. You could actually take the team that I used. Nope, not Sword and Shield OU. Don't plan on playing that for a little bit until it gets interesting. You can actually use the Rain team. Yep. Besides Raikou and Bronzong, so it would just need some shifts, but these guys on their own can easily do it. It's Rain. The fact that UU kept Sun is also really interesting. Not to backpedal too much, but just to go back a little bit. one of the better checks to Sun and one of the good Pokemon on Sun was Salamence. Salamence could fit on any playstyle. Salamence was a decent check to Sun because it at least speed type with Typhlosion. Also, it can take hits from Victory Bell and it can knock it out back in return. So Sun just looks even more powerful. But yeah, so Rain, and then there's, of course, there's the Crit Drop. Something I used back at XY. I think I was the first person to use it, which is so cool to see that actually become a good set as well. Same thing with Freeze Dry Mammoth, but like whatever. So it's Focus Energy, right, with Sniper, and you just break through everything. It's a really cool Pokemon. I wouldn't mind seeing like climb up a little bit more too. Is Suicune not considered Yu? Hold up, was Suicune not considered Yu? Did I see Suicune there? I should have. Okay, good. But it's really cool because it's like one of those mods like, oh, I don't care about Calm Mind Crest, oh, I don't care about Calm Mind Suicune, I can just break through those, and it's in this tier. So if there are some decent Calm Mind setup mods, again, I'm going to keep going. Houndoom also looks really good too, just offensively, just Specs, Dark Pulse, and Overheat, fantastic. Looking for anything in particular that looks essentially threatening with a Calm Mind, Drift Blim, but like it's different, it's not the type of Calm Mind mod I'm looking for. In particular, I'm talking about something that can be annoying, Wish Calm Mind or Healing Calm Mind. Drift Blim does have Scrum Sap, so don't get me wrong. But ooh, Belly Drum Linoon looks like something else too. But yeah, Kingdra looks crazy. I'm sure that's something that'll be banned eventually after they get out of Alpha, which I believe will be in a month or two, maybe, who knows. Maybe it'll be back during the next tier changes, and I'm sure we'll get like a NU after. Oh, Licky looks pretty cool. Now, as like an anti-weather stopper to an extent, it doesn't have Wish, which is pretty big. So it can't Wish, but it still has that nice mixed coverage, which I think is really cool, and Explosion, which is the big thing for it. So, oh, whoops. Let's keep going. Again, we're just looking down the list and we're seeing what actually sticks out to us. And again, let me know down below. Ludicolo being a Rain user, of course. No. Machamp, oof. So both Hariyama and Machamp down in the lower tiers, and they'll just sound like amazing Guts Pokemon. Like, I will do an RU Live this week. I got a few things I got to do before, and I got to wait for thumbnails as well, which is the big thing because I have a new guy. Obviously, Skarzig is amazing. He's the guy who's making all these thumbnails. They're fantastic, right? But he only works 3 days a week, so I got to give him like 7-8 videos in a row to make thumbnails for us. So RU tier coming out. I'll just like express like, hey, can you please do this, please? But yeah. So Life Orb Machamp, excuse me, Flame Orb Machamp looks amazing. Not a lot to actually threaten it, which is pretty cool. And obviously No Guard still looks cool, though not as good. Magmortar looks like a pretty decent Pokemon here too, with like Taunt, Focus Blast, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt. Looks like it has just good coverage all around. I saw Charizard too, and I'm sure you can actually get some Belly Drum Charizard sweeps and a few other things going on with like special sets too. Jolteon was another one, since the ground types, besides Gastrodon, look the best. I think Golem's a good mon though, but just fast. You know, same thing with Manectric, fast. Mantine, good anti-rain person, but will lose to Crit Draw. And also a decent rain user too. Marowak, so Trick Room obviously has an option down here too. You see Marowak, you see Machamp, you see Mawile, just all Trick Room mons. Oh my god, Metacham is down here too. So another choice band Pokemon that won't have switch-ins. So we might even see Life Orb sets become more common just because you want that fake out for rain turns. Mesprit can be a good choice scarf user. Good Calm Mind sweeper as well with base 105 all around. Especially because the dark types aren't the greatest. I mean, looking at Mightyena. I'll mention Meltank just for Stealth Rock and like switching to grass types, but there's not like there's the best grass types. Moltres still looks really strong because it still has Hurricane, still has Overheat. It lost Scorching Sands, but I don't think that matters. I think that's Specs. Specs Hurricane just looks phenomenal down here. Specs Hurricane and Specs Overheat. Just looks phenomenal. Like, you'll 2-hit KO everything in their tier or knock out most Pokemon, so that's nice. Keeping going. Nidoqueen is good too. I believe Sun is allowed. I don't think, if you actually look at it, let's see what they have for bans. RUBL, nothing left. OOU bans apply. No. Sun is still allowed in UU, which means it is still allowed in RU as well. So, well, not to gloss too much over Nidoqueen, but Nidoqueen is a fantastic Pokemon. Both Stealth Rock, Tie Spikes, defensive and also offensive, just sounds like such a huge pain. This tier is going to be filled with threats, and there's not like random blanket psychics like Cresselia and Mew to toss on that can just tank those hits. I mean, maybe you'll see a Hypno, but I think the tier is going to be hella offensive. I think offense is going to be way better than defense in this. Like, offense better than defense. Offense better than like bulkier Slaw type builds. But yeah, Ninetales getting up Sun. In terms of Sun, let's look at Chlorophyll. Whom the, oh, sorry, I can't spell. So it's filtered by chlorophyll. So Shift Tree is down here, good. Venusaur's down here. Venusaur actually lost like a good chunk of its moves. Well, the big one being Earth Power and Weather Ball. So in terms of Sun, not the greatest. It's not the greatest, but it can still definitely do things with Growth, Sleep Powder. And it probably doesn't even need that much coverage down here either, right? There's no Magneton, Magnezone, Heatran. Shift Tree is still amazing in my opinion on Sun. I'm sure offensive Leafeon's going to be annoying. Victory Bell, fantastic mon, because it still has Weather Ball. So yeah, Sun looks powerful. And in terms of fire types that can benefit it, obviously Charizard is the first one that comes to mind. But there's Charizard, Arcanine, Houndoom, Magmortar, Moltres on Sun, Anti-Flosion. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So both Sun and Rain are going to be legitimate problems in the RU tier. They're going to be good. They are definitely going to be solid because there's not really too many things that can stop. And the crazy thing is, Ditto is UU. And why is Ditto UU? Like, Ditto usually gets tiered all the way down. But Ditto is UU because Salamence was the best damn Pokemon in that tier. And Ditto is one of the ways that you can just toss, blanket check to everything, right? So you can just toss on your team. Like, damn, this tier is crazy. But yeah, no Ditto down here is actually really scary for weather. So, I don't know, pack up your Cloud9, Licky Lickies and pray, or use your own weather. I'm sure there's some options that I'm like glossing over, but I also don't want to mention everything too. Octillery doesn't have Moody. Amistar, another great lead, but also another scary Shell Smasher, and also a good Rain Pokemon too. Pelipper does not have Drizzle, so that's good to say the least, right? There's no Rain down here either. Phione can be cool for manual Rain as well, same thing like Pelipper, but can U-turn, same thing like Pelipper, but can rest over Roost. Politoed and Poliwrath look decent anti-rain options too, but even Draco looks incredibly scary for them, so they gotta be careful. Legitimately, Primeape looks like a threat. Yeah, Scarf, Primeape, Close Combat, U-turn, Stone Edge. Ain't no fairies down here that are good, right? Let's look at Fairy. Egg Group Fairy, no. You get Close Combat 2-shot, you don't like U-turn, and you get Poison Jab, you get Close Combat 2-shot. So yeah, Primeape looks like a good Pokemon. Even if Mama's Intimidate, just giving it Defiance. So Primeape actually looks like a good Pokemon down here. It's pretty cool. Or at least like a solid Scarfer. I like that. And a check too. It's faster than Scarf Moltres too. I like Probopass. There's not too many steals. Well, actually, we can look at it right now. Let's see what we have as a type. There's Steelix, and if Steelix has Roar, it will beat it. But otherwise, you can Magnet Rise and Iron Defense and beat Steelix 1v1. So is that really all they have? Okay, I'm about to say. Yeah, Probopass can beat. Well, Aggron looks amazing. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to like gloss over it, but like as a lead and also as like a choice band set on a Trick Room too, Aggron looks cool. But yeah, Probopass can potentially beat all these 1v1 in the right circumstances. I think similarly, Aggron and them can beat it too. Do you have superpower? Yep. So something to worry about. Cacturne also looks good for priority. Good anti-rain mon too. Probably. I don't think it's the greatest, but maybe its strong fake out can help. We have Quillfish, which can be a great spiker and also a great rain Pokemon too. Rampardos for Trick Room. Regice can live special hits from the rain and Thunder Wave them back, or Thunderbolt or Ice Beam depending. Regigigas is going to be fun just to mess around with. Regirock is going to be a nice staple. Stealth Rocker probably on balance. Relicanth, again, another good Pokemon that could be for, and I'm saying good just based on the tier, but another good Pokemon that could be for Rain. Can also sturdy setup Rain with Rain Dance. I fought that set. Rhyperior looks like a fantastic check to a lot of physical attackers and even some Fire Mons, depending though, but it's cool to see Rhyperior here. Staple Stealth Rocker, Staple Swords Dance user, and Choice Band looks crazy, both in and out of Trick Room as well. Rotom forms for maybe offense, but you have Frostlass to kind of just spikes and do things like that. Rotom Fan, Rotom Frost, whatever. Sableye, I doubt you can make a stall version work, but maybe for your priority mon versus physical rain mon and stuff like that, you can Will-O-Wisp and stuff like that. Sandslash, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Sceptile, maybe Unburdened sets can be good in this too, because again, they're missing a lot of checks, like random Pokemon that can just sit on and just sit on these Pokemon. So maybe an Unburdened set with like Swords Dance, shoot, even Dragon Claw or Leaf Blade, Rock Slide, Earthquake, whatever can work to deal with it. I like the idea of Sharpedo a lot. I like the idea of Sharpedo a lot. I think it's going to be solid as a speed boost, as a cleaner. This will also be good anti-offense and anti-weather, and also good on offense. But the reason it can be anti-offense, anti-weather, because the it's not Torkoal, right? It's Ninetale. So Ninetale doesn't like taking crunches and dies to Earthquake too. Whereas Torkoal can take, if Sun is up, Torkoal can easily tank hits from Sharpedo. So even special and physical look really strong here too. Shedinja looks like a really interesting check to like rain and stuff. Might be a little bit harder to get to work. Let's see the good defoggers and let's see the good rapid spinners as well in the tier. So defog, Articuno could defog, but it takes Stealth Rock. Yeah, everything takes Stealth Rock, which can defog down here, which is interesting for the most part. Poor Zapdos. Everything's weak to Stealth Rock, so defoggers aren't going to be the greatest, but they're still going to be okay. Like Zapdos can be, we'll get to Zapdos when we get to it, but Rapid Spin. Kabutops, at least on rain, probably going to be spinning the most out of all of these. I'm sure Hitmonlee and Hitmontop can get away with it too. Maybe random Armaldo as well, which can also still work on rain too. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What else do we have down here? What else do you guys hide in front of me? Reggie's, that, Shedinja, yeah, I already talked about that. Shuckle as well, so Sticky Web is obviously open for business. Stealth Rocker, this can default. Oh, I think Slacking would be fun to randomly use. Oh, okay. Never mind. We're feeling, we're a little bit better. Also, Skuntank after that Sucker Punch and defog school. We're a little all right. There's a Slow King down here. Woo! All right, one of the bros is down here. One of the slow families down here. Okay, rain check in itself. Regenerator obviously pivots. We'll see. I was looking for one of these bulky psychics that I can take. But the good thing is too, this is not going to beat fighters. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But in terms of like, oh man, this monster's going to sit there and T-Wave and Calm Mind and Fire Blast and Psyshock and Future Sight. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be the same. There's no heavy duty boots, one, so you can spike stack. And two, it cannot take on the fighters. It switches in the close combat, it dies to knockoff. It switches in the facade, it dies to facade. Or two facades, like it dies to second knockoff, like things like that. Smeargle as well, another lead one. But it's cool to see Slow King, so you can actually, Balance can have a playstyle. Alright, Balance can have a playstyle. I would be scared, like, can you only just do weathers and offense? Like, that's what it looked like, right? But Balance can find a playstyle because Slow King's in the tier. Smeargle there for whatever you want to do with it. I used Spinda today. It's not very strong, but it's a fun one. Spiritomb for, I can switch it on Metachan, that's about it. Steelix, I think definitely staple, Steel type in the tier. Not that there's too many dragons up here, but a good Stealth Rocker as well. Swallow check as well, which is Swallow right here. Swallow and Tauros check. I think Tauros and Swallow actually look really good too. Just I think normal types in general, like X-Cloud, Swallow, and Tauros all look good just because they're very strong offensively, so it's going to be hard to switch into it, period. And even something like Swallow has to run Guts, so because it doesn't have Boom Burst right now, can't use it. But it still looks good. As well, Tauros just looks strong, good speed tier. I like that a lot about it. Faster than the Weather Starter, which is good. Torterra looks really interesting. Maybe special defensive or rock polish sets. Rock polish sets actually look pretty cool with Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Woodhammer. Just offensively. Again, I think I'm leaning more towards offense in this tier for sure. Toxic Cloak, good SD Pokemon, good anti-rain, at least spammy. Good anti-Kabutops Pokemon, I think is the big thing about it. Obviously, Typhlosion can go crazy on Sun, in my opinion. Just the fact that there is no rain to auto start versus it, I think is a big thing. So just being able to click that eruption is going to be crazy. Oh, Unknown. Who knows what this mon can do? I don't know why I said that. We have Ursaring. Both Guts and Quick Feet look good in this tier. The tier is relatively slow, so Quick Feet looks cool, but Guts looks scary. Whether you're using it offensively on like Trick Room or just as its own, I think it also looks good. Oxy can obviously set up weathers if it wants to. It can set up dual screens. I think this would be a lead mon in terms of the leading the offense metagame. This and Frostlass look really strong for that. Almastar as well can do it too. But like Stealth Rock, Memento can be a Trick Room, can be on everything. Vaporeon, probably one of the better bulky waters next to Slow King, providing wish support for the team. So that's interesting. So this being down here and Slow King lead me to believe that yes, you can potentially run balance builds. Because I was, like I said, I was looking at the tier, I was like, damn, this tier, I don't mind a tier being offensive, that's fine. But obviously I want people to be able to use different things. I don't want to load up different offenses every time and, you know, pray that I win every 50-50 and do things like that. I want to have a game where I can actually think long term with it too. Not that you can't do that with offense, but offense has less, there's less you can do in offense. You'll make a play just so they can't set up with XYZ and then you're done in like 10, 15, 20 turns or so. Sometimes you want those games where like, okay, I can win if I do this, even though they crit me, I can do this and this. But yeah, Vaporeon definitely looks good with the wish. and there's no like Suicune to set up on it. You don't even need haze. Venomoth looks fantastic, like I said. On offense, it looks amazing. Just the Sleep Powder, Quiver Dance, Tinted Lens set, just really, really difficult to deal with in my opinion. And the fact that like in terms of the Sun users, barely like it resists all of Venusaur's attacks, right? Victory Bell has to Weather Ball it, but resists the other. It resists all of Venusaur's attacks and things like that. Like, and after Quiver Dance, obviously it's faster than Ninetales, and it can even take on Ninetales if it really wants to, because it can Quiver Dance and Roost in front of it. Just because Ninetales, if it's not like offensive, it won't be able to KO back. But plus, you can Sleep Powder and Tinted Lens Bug Buzz. Plus one with Stealth Rock is a 2-hit KO, so that's something to think about too. I already talked about Venusaur a little bit. Victory Bell a little bit. Volbeat is a fantastic Rain and Sun starter as well. So I think this will be a staple on those type of teams. Ooh, Weezing. Okay, good for the fighters. Really good for the fighter. You also have Neutralizing Gas, so you can use Levitate. It also gets T-Spike, but does it still have T-Spike right now? Do you still have Toxic Spike? I believe you do, yeah, because I used it. Okay, yeah. So that also still has Toxic Spike right now, which is cool. Being able to get that up. And Neutralizing Gas means you can ignore Guts. However, so that means they will be taking burn damage, so their close combats and knockoffs will be halved. But Facade is still 140 base power and also still ignores it. Doesn't have Guts anymore, but it still ignores that. Walrein looks interesting, maybe as an anti-rain Pokemon. I don't know. I doubt it, though. Wob doesn't have Shadow Tag, so just switch out when you fight it. The Wormadam are exactly what their names imply. Trash. But still possible. Xatu can definitely work. Again, anti-offense, dual screens, calm mindsets too, potentially, but just like as a pivot on balanced builds too. Like Xatu Steelix was a very common core we saw back before in our earlier generation, so that might be something that can come back. Zangoose, again, something that can work on offensive builds with a Toxic Boost. The fastest Pokemon in the tier that has like its own variation of Guts, because Toxic Boost is basically Guts. So it's faster than obviously Ursaring, Machamp, Hariyama. Well, besides Swallow. So it's one of the faster ones in the tier that can actually hit incredibly hard. We might see a little bit of this, might see it on dual screens. I think Sticky Web, excuse me. I think Sticky Web is like the one where you'll really see Zangoose shine. But we'll see, because it can actually do anti-weather stuff. And just Facade, close combat, quick attack, Night Slash, it's really hard. You don't even need to Night Slash really in this tier, just looking at it. You can go Swords Dance if you really want to. And last but not least, Zapdos. Zapdos has fallen. Zapdos has fallen to RU. Crazy, right? To think that Zapdos has ever fallen down past you. Because Zapdos was UU in Gen 5, but to think it's ever fallen down past UU is crazy. But the reason being is, look at its move pool. That's it. There's nothing. Like, this is like RBY. Like, there's no Hurricane, there's no Heat Wave, there's no Hidden Power, obviously. Can still set up Rain Dance and U-Turn and Thunder, take advantage of it. There's no Weather Ball either, so can still Thunder and U-Turn and take advantage. Special defensive sets, maybe physically defensive sets, can deal with certain Pokemon in the tier 2, like Absol at +2 and stuff like that as well. Like it'll be alright. It'll be a good defogger. It can U-turn around. I think a defogger that can U-turn around is always good. It has a good speed tier, cut above the rest, so it can be like secondary checks to things like Zangoose and stuff like that. It's taking some chip, which it will because of Stealth Rock and its own poison damage and things like that. So sucks to see Zapdos fall down like this, but I mean, when you have no tools to play with, it makes sense, right? It's not a good mon. I'm not going to use it. It can lose to everything, right? So it loses to ground types and grass types. Yeah, that's Drill Peck. That's about it. But unless you're one of those Air Cutter people, which I don't even think it gets. Does it still get Air Cutter? Oh, it gets Air Lace. There's no Brave Bird either, which is something it had as well. Like, if it had Brave Bird, maybe it'd be possible. But Drill Peck is whatever. Like, I'm sure you could use like a Drill Peck, Zapdos, and OU if you really wanted to deal with a Pokemon like Breloom and stuff, but not being able to hit Gliscor, like, come on, man. But it's sad to see that Zapdos has fallen all the way down. But I'm sure with Pokemon Home, if it does actually bring back stuff that these Pokemon can use, so Hurricane, Heat Wave, etc. Maybe Pokemon Home will actually bring back Hidden Power, because Hidden Power is obviously programmed into the game, right? Because Unknown has it, and also, you know, I keep saying this, but this is just me assuming. Snailstrom, I'm not talking about you. You're not in the game. Yeah, okay, I knew it. Yeah, so maybe Hidden Power will be back. Because think about it. If you can actually transfer from Pokemon Home, you'd bring your Pokemon from back then that actually already have Hidden Power. You transfer them here. Hidden Power might actually become meta, and that would shift a lot. But who knows? because it's obviously programmed into the game, right? It's not like it's not programmed into the game at all. It is programmed into the game. But who knows? But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on Salamence being banned. Let me know your thoughts on the new RU tier. It looks pretty fun. It looks really offensive. Definitely Balance does have an option. Trick Room looked good too, but which is another form of offense, right? Like Rain, Sun, Aurora Veil is possible too. Because Mom Snow does learn Aurora Veil. I fought it, but let me just confirm. I know you learn Aurora, yeah. Rain, Sun, Trick Room, Dual Screen, Sticky Web offense all look fantastic, right? They all look scary. It looks very chaotic in terms of offense. In fact, let me actually just click on a random game, watch a battle. See what we're doing. Okay, this is not. Oh, okay, finally. All right, I mean, this is probably not an accurate representation. Oh, maybe it is. If you think about it, anti-sun, anti-rain, anti-rain. And this is obviously rain as well. And they know the power of Volbeat, so that's cool. Let's click on another one. Oh, this is Carney. So this is more of offense, trying to be like anti-rain type of thing. Doesn't really have. I don't think Mantine is the best sun option. And this is more like a balanced team, which is interesting to see too. With Slow King, yep, U-turn, probably Scarf this. Or ban, my god, that did a lot. 56%, that's crazy. So that's an option too. Oh, it's Scarf, never mind. Doug Trio. What is this doing here? This looks like really lower tier in terms of like power. But, I mean, anti-rain, anti-rain. This can be Focus Sash too with Magic Guard. Anything else we see here too? Yep, this is Rain, or looks like this just looks like a bunch of good Pokemon. This just looks like a bunch of good Pokemon put together with like an Executor. And then what else we got here? Wow, to see Ninjask win. To see Ninjask win versus like I said, these aren't like really accurate representations in my opinion, because these are lower, some of the lower tier games. But you definitely see some common trends. Excuse me. Obviously, you see the Rain, which is something like I said that I think will be definitely ran. We saw some Sun there, but that wasn't really a Sun team. Gastron as well. A lot of priority mons too. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the URI tier. Let me know your guys' thoughts on UU now. How will it be with Salamence gone? Should they have banned Crush? Should they have banned Sun? And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video or videos tomorrow. Peace, guys.